So do you think that if this war in Iran continues, it's going to delay our rates going down?
It's all about inflation now. So the point is, where it used to be that war would drive interest rates down, that's apparently gone. We're seeing the exact opposite. And instead they're just saying, oh, well, what's oil going to do? Because oil going up is going to be bad for inflation, and bonds hit inflation, so interest rates rise. So it's like a new normal. It's just everything is inflation. But I think that when that happens, we just see a very similar thing like with COVID, when the rates dropped, that just fueled purchase prices. People can afford more, so they offer more, and the payments are the same.
Is housing a right or a privilege?
If we are able-bodied and able-minded, right? If we are able-bodied and able-minded, the work instills the worth. It is harder than ever to buy a house on Long Island, no doubt. But that hard work that it takes to be able to buy a house on Long Island instills the worth, makes it worthwhile, makes it a worthy accomplishment to own the house in the end.
Today, we have a very special guest here on episode 3 of the Mean Agent podcast.
We have last week's Daddy of the Week!
Let's go.
Thank you for having me.
What's up? What's up?
Let me start by giving you your flowers that you very much deserve. This office is beautiful, and whatever inspiration you guys were trying to capture here, clean, presentable, somewhere that if I worked here, I would be happy to show off to clients. I'd be proud walking them in the door, which is huge, and is also what I'm trying to capture in Patchogue. And since I'm trying to capture that in Patchogue, I know how involved, how time-consuming it is, how much thought it really does take to put the effort into have it be this presentable. Kudos. It way exceeded my expectations. It's gorgeous in here.
I appreciate that. All credit to Dan Burke. He's the man.
Credit to him, because he knocked it out of the park.
He really killed it.
It's a wonderful place to hang out. It's a wonderful place to chop it up. We've already had some, before the cameras are rolling, we're already having some.
I know, we need cameras everywhere in this office.
Yeah. Some great conversations, and so we'll reel it into whatever directions that you want to go. But
well, listen, I feel like you kind of kicked it off. So listen, office opened in Patchogue.
Yeah.
Does that mean are you a South Shore guy? Where are you from?
Yeah. I can't seem to get away from Patchogue.
Okay.
Grew up in Bayport, right next door. Little town right next door to Patchogue.
Grew
up in there. Been on my own since I graduated high school. So at whatever I was, maybe, I guess when I got the first apartment, maybe 19 or so. Got my first apartment in Patchogue, and then I was renting in Patchogue until I bought my first house at just turning 25, and then I've owned in Patchogue in the Riverwalk. I've had 4 different houses in there, but I've been in that complex for 11 years now almost. Wow. This will be the 11th year.
Wait, the math doesn't matter. Bro, how old are you?
35.
Oh, you look way younger.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
There you go.
Well, that's why I was saying that mansion tax.
I guess that's why you got nominated.
That's why we started picking on that mansion tax that I say is outdated and ridiculous. And at this point, the mansion tax is a slap in the face, in my opinion, to anybody actually buying $1 million house. Hey, pay this mansion tax, and anybody buying $1 million house on Long Island right now is saying, what mansion?
It's a regular
So that's from
house.
1989. That's before I was born.
My brain can't even comprehend it. A lot of these houses are $1 million. I walk in and I'm like, this feels like a $500,000 house.
Where's it go?
What is happening?
Right? And for people older than us, it probably feels even crazier than that.
Yeah.
They're looking at like, wasn't this house, 250, 300, right? So that rule is outdated, but I'm sure that New York State's not in a huge rush to go and update their numbers, but
not at all.
Proportionately, it should probably be triple,
It's insane. I mean,
what is a mansion now?
It depends where.
Loosely, even used loosely, on average in New York State, not just the island, because it's the whole state.
That's fair. But for the island, to put it into perspective, a good deal on like a Upper Brookville, like distressed property, can oftentimes be like $2 million. Yeah. So it's like, that's a distressed property you couldn't even go into and actively live. So what is happening? Like a mansion, for example, like a really good house that I would consider like the border of being a mansion in Patchogue, for example. I had a client who was recently looking to put an offer in, and it was actually wild how terrible the listing agents are. They said they had to accept to go offer a deal going, blah, 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 blah. House never fucking sold.
Yep.
Wild. But to put it into perspective, like that was like 1.4.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in Patchogue, So then like come here to Mount Sinai, for example, you're probably talking 1.5, 1.6.
Yeah.
In the Brookvilles, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous.
It really is. And where I think it goes from here is I think that the people that look at these prices and say, that's crazy, I won't do that. Like, I don't really think that the prices are going to come down. I don't really think that it's going to get much better. I think that interest rates will come down. Hopefully that happens as the tensions overseas right now ease. Hopefully we see that start to lower the rates. The rates have worsened over these last couple of weeks based on what's going on in Iran and its effect on oil prices particularly. If and when that eases, I think we'll see rates go. And I think that that'll start some momentum for rates to actually finally drop. They've been so stubborn for 3.5 years now.
Yeah.
We'll finally see that drop. But I think that when that happens, we just see a very similar thing like with COVID when the rates dropped, that just fueled purchase prices. People can afford more, so they offer more, and the payments are the same. It's just that they've got a lower rate and a higher purchase price.
Yeah.
So the homeowners now, like always, will win in the long run, right? Because that becomes equity for them.
Now, my thought process has always been in regard to if we're going to see a pop because of interest rates, has always been like, hey, we got to see less than 5 for something really to move. What are your thoughts? Where do you think? Because we're getting close to 5 now.
We were there 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know, and arguably, right? So you didn't see it crazy in the news because, you know, maybe on average interest rates were around 6% still, and they wanted to be
Yeah, I was thinking like 5.5 to 6.
Yep. So that's fair. So they were there a couple of weeks ago. The 10-year Treasury note, the number itself doesn't really correlate to mortgage interest rates, but the trend of that yield very closely resembles the trend of mortgage interest rates. If you get 10 years going up, mortgage interest rates are going up. So for somebody who just casually wants to see, that's always a good thing to follow. Again, the number itself doesn't correlate, right? But the trend of it does. And so for the 10-year being stuck pretty much over 4% for years now, it broke under 4% that Friday when I forget if it was Friday night or Saturday, whatever, right before, you know, the bombs start going in Iran. So we got there for a second, and that was about to be a nice wind, I think, for interest rates. But they touch 5 now. You know, maybe on some scenarios you can still hang on to the high 5s. Otherwise, they're kind of pushed back into that 6% mark, very low 6s, high 5s. So it's okay because over the last couple of years, that's still on the lower side where rates have been more.
We're at a 3.5-year low.
Yep. Yes, and now we're back right just a bit above that. So. If you can look back over the last couple of years, it's not so bad. If you look back, you know, the last month, rates are.
So do you think that if this war in Iran continues, it's going to delay our rates going down?
Yeah, I do. So here's what I think is happening, and I welcome any and all challenges to this. But what I think is happening is that all of the old rules of what used to drive interest rates are out the window.
Really?
Because of inflation. So it used to be that if there was war and uncertainty and chaos and things like this, it used to be that we'd see bonds as a flight to safety. People would invest in bonds. That would drive mortgage interest rates down and rates would improve. That's how it always, as far as I know, that's how it always was. But since inflation in, say, early 2022...
Yeah, we're talking about 9%. It was insane.
So right, but it's not anymore.
No.
So let me circle back to that because you're exactly right. Like, that was crazy. Rates had to worsen for that to start to be corrected. That's fair. So then rates went to 6-7% as a result of that inflation that you're mentioning. 2022 through 2023, it just went up. Now, but then inflation has been cooling since then, but rates kind of just stayed at that like 6% or so mark, right? So what I'm getting at is all of the old rules for what drives interest rates for the most part has all taken the wayside, and that now the main, and you could even argue almost the entire focus of what interest rates do is based on inflation. And even if somebody says, no, because they watch the jobs reports and this and that, they're watching the jobs reports so that they can determine based on the jobs reports how it's going to affect inflation.
Yeah.
It's all about inflation now. So the point is, where it used to be that war would drive interest rates down, that's apparently gone. We're seeing the exact opposite. And instead they're just saying, oh, well, what's oil going to do? Because oil going up is going to be bad for inflation, and bonds hit inflation, so interest rates rise. So it's like a new normal. It's just everything is inflation. I would also go so far as to argue that maybe at some point we're like, a little bit too concerned with inflation because I think it's pulled back quite a ways from how bad it was 3-4 years ago. Maybe we're a little maybe it's a little bit that we're over concerned with it, but I'll leave that to the people that are better at that than me.
Now, with investing in like bonds, do you think anything's changed also on top of like everything else you just said because of how many different popular options of investments there are? Like before, it used to be you're investing your money in bonds, real estate, or just stocks that are like generally like S&P 500. But now it's like you got people investing in Pokemon cards, Rolexes, sneakers, crypto, to where it's like we're in a different world in the investment sense.
Oh my God, I love this. Right, you're right, because part of those investments, okay, you're so right. So on one hand, I want to say no, because let's say you took like crypto into consideration. As far as I don't invest heavily into crypto. I'm no expert in the subject, but as far as I've seen recently, it seems to trend somewhat similar to like tech stocks and stuff. So it seems to me from the outside looking in, I'm not deeply involved, but from the outside looking in, it looks to me like when stocks go up, crypto goes up, and when stocks go down, crypto goes down. That's a very surface level view. That's my understanding.
I'm right there with you. I got no understanding.
So if there's any truth to that, then whatever's driving stocks is driving crypto, and I kind of almost going to put them together for the moment, right? Almost, right? Okay. And then, but then now, if they're together, then the stock people and the crypto people are kind of moving together, and it again used to be to some degree somewhat inversely that if stocks are doing well, then mortgage interest rates aren't doing so well, and that if stocks are doing bad, again that flight to safety, like the war and other things, people invest in the safer bonds and mortgage-backed securities because they're safer. So that they should work inversely, but it's a new normal. So maybe Rolexes and
that's the thing. In my head, I'm like, you didn't used to have social media telling you these things. It used to be like your grandpa would walk up to you and be like, "I invested in real estate. It was great, so you should do that." Or I invested in stocks and it was great, so you should do that. Where now it's like we've all seen those posts where it's like, "Oh, investing in Rolexes has outpaced real estate, S&P 500, this, that." Where it's like, it's popularized to an extent that I wonder if it's actually made an effect. I don't know though.
It is because it's a new normal. Here's a reason why there's truth to that. For example, right, we're in an attention economy. So now you invest in a special car or some Rolexes or something, and you can broadcast that on your Instagram or whatever else. That's a lot sexier than nerd stocks or right, some techie stock that nobody understands, right? So the attention, we're in an attention economy. So the guy that can flex on how much he made buying and selling Rolexes or buying and holding Rolexes or buying and holding sneakers or buying and holding Pokemon cards, that gets a lot more attention. That's a lot more fun and exciting. So that's like, we're breaking all of these old rules, the rules of what used to drive mortgage interest rates, the rules of what used to combat inflation, right? Stocks and these things are changing. So that's a really interesting thought.
All right, so now I got to ask you. You said you grew up in Bayport.
Please.
So here's the question.
Yeah.
North Shore or South Shore?
Yeah, I'm stuck on the South Shore. So I'd argue for the South Shore anyway for easier access to Fire Island. In my 30s, I'm a car. In my 20s, my 30s, I'm a car guy.
Okay.
But I know myself, and eventually I'll be a boat guy. And I always say my 40s will be for boats. Okay. Let me enjoy cars and buy a fancy house in my 30s. In my 40s, I'll be for boats, and then I'm going to want easy access to the bay, easy access to Fire Island. So for that, and just the fact that my life is and always has been on the South Shore, it's South Shore. Believe me, I wish it really wasn't the case. You come out here, you come out here, and you go a little bit, or you go a little bit east. Well, no, you go out maybe towards Manorville, you get some room to breathe. I'd like some acreage. That appeals to me as far as like day to day, but logistically, it's so far from my life that I wouldn't be able to, and the North Shore along with it. It's tempting though. There's a lot of charm up here. There's homes up here are more my style. Like if I looked at homes for sale on Long Island,
it's not
the types of homes that I would like are up here. They're not in Patchogue.
I just feel like there's no conversation. North Shore has way better houses. Way better houses.
No argument.
I will say, especially in the summer, South Shore's lit.
Mm-hmm.
South Shore's fun.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I'm like an old man.
Yeah.
North Shore is where
Well,
it's at for me.
no argument.
Quiet. It's calm, like you said. You
Yeah.
have more room. I like the houses more. I like the vibe.
I like
more.
the
It's
houses more
calmer.
too. I like the
But-
vibe. I do.
I respect it though. I respect it.
Because there's not even a disagreement. It's almost harks back to that same conversation of like we were talking about people that feel stuck on Long Island, right? So just like on a lesser degree, my life is in Patchogue and most of my life is on the South Shore. I'm just a little bit more committed there. I'd be otherwise open-minded to the North Shore. I had no qualm with it. And you touched on how, like, you mentioned a bad agent on a list representing a listing before, and that made me, that the thought occurred to me when you said that. It's very interesting that mortgages as well, but I think to a slightly lesser degree. But real estate agents are such a mixed bag. Like, there's this force, and there's these two forces in real estate where it's like how good of an agent you are. It's very hard to cleanly prove how good of an agent you are beyond production. Like, and the production doesn't at all necessarily mean that they're the best agent. Like,
Not at all.
it does not necessarily mean that they got the most for your sale. That does not necessarily mean that they scanned through the most houses to find the best possible one, or that they really studied the situation of a listing to offer aggressively. It's not. We're an attention economy, and at a certain point, when you're good enough, you build credibility, you build enough referrals, and you get the production. So there's this weird force of like, how much credibility do you have? How good are you at what you can do? And how close are you to the potential client, right? You always get like, oh, I'm just going to list with my aunt. She's a teacher, but she's licensed and she's my aunt. So, right. So there's these forces that are at work, right? Of like how attached or connected you are to an agent, and how much attention and credibility that they have, and how good they are. And what's ironic is a lot of the time, it's the up and coming agents that are the best value, because they're the ones that have the time, have the drive, aren't comfortable, aren't passing on the tougher listings, aren't passing on the tougher buyers, that are actually doing the better service for the client. So if you're a potential buyer or seller, keep that in mind. It's not always just the numbers. The numbers do speak something, right? You don't get to the people at the top of the mountain didn't fall there. There's truth to there. But keep an open mind to the young, hungry, up-and-coming agents, because they're going to be the workhorses.
And let me tell you, so Long Island, for example, our rental market is insane.
Yep.
It's terrible. And I tell tenants all the time, because I don't personally work with tenants, but I tell them all the time, walk into a real estate office, go to their...
Now you're really going to say that with this beautiful place.
Yes.
Walk into this real estate office.
Walk up to the broker and say, who is your newest agent?
Mm-hmm.
Newest in the industry. Because that is the agent that's going to, exactly what you said, who's going to have the time, who's going to actually prioritize you, and is going to get it done for you. Because there's so many scams, there's so many rentals no people have access to. You can't tell what's real or not. You can't tell if you're talking to actually the listing agent or just some random scammer pretending to have the listing, pretending to be the owner. So I always tell people, look for those agents. They're the ones who are hungry, that will actually help you.
So true. And so then the perfect combination is that young, hungry agent, right? So look for some, and I'm going to go off a little bit, but if I'm this neutral client, potential client, and I'm looking to vet these agents, I'm going to be looking for somebody that takes care of themselves, right? Has a strong appearance, like has an appearance that they are consistent in their approach to taking care of themselves. Because if they can take care of themselves, they can probably take care of their clients. And are they in a situation where they have potentially a good mentor, right? So that big producer with the big numbers, if they have a real relationship, not just a manager that's hoping to make a rip and gives them no time and no energy, but a real mentor in the office that they can ask the hard questions to, so they get the access to that experience, the access to that guy or girl that's done all of that volume and is at the top of the mountain, access to them for the important questions, but have the man hours and the energy to put in to really do the legwork. That's where you're going to get your best value, I think.
Oh, 100%. And I think that, a lot of my mentors who are all amazing always told me, they're like, you've been in the industry for 20 plus years. Every other week, we still learn something new. So when these like younger realtors go up to people and they start acting like they know everything, or even saying, oh, I know all of it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's insanity. If your realtor is saying they know it all, do not listen to them. Yeah. I tell people that all the time. I am still learning stuff to this day.
Yep.
But I will never tell you, oh, I know, or answer something confidently if I don't actually know it. I will promise you, I'll go back, I'll do the research, and I'll figure it out.
Shade, you sound exactly like me talking, man. I say the same because it's the truth.
It's the truth.
And when that client doesn't need to know that Bill or Jake know the answer to every single thing. They need to know that if they ask Bill or Jake, that they will find out. If they don't know already, they're going to find out and they're going to get back, and I won't have to follow up with them.
Yes, 100%. Now, I got to ask you.
Go ahead.
I mean, listen, I've actually never done this in my entire life.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't care.
Yeah.
Are you a weed smoker?
Oh, man. Yeah.
Oh, you put me on the
So,
spot.
no, I don't mind. My life is an open book. No, the answer is no. But like, I probably smoke weed once every year or two. There will just be a circumstance that's like, it's not like I'm against it or anything. I don't get much out of it. I just get tired. And then the next day I feel a little bit more tired than it would have been. And I'm like, I'm too busy. Like, this isn't for me. I don't feel particularly good. But my life just goes in a way where there'll be an instance every year or two where it's just like, yeah, fine, give me that. Like, I'm very rarely around smokers, but again, once every couple of years, maybe I'm away for a trip or something like that. The opportunity arises, I'm not against it. I'll fucking puff on it.
All right. So what are your thoughts on Glen Cove recently making it to where you can get a fine for smoking in public?
Wow.
Like smoking weed in public.
Let's start by playing devil's advocate. What do you think made them rise to enact that?
So, kind of what you just said, like there's playing devil's advocate, there's two sides to everything. I think on one side, it's, in my experience, if I'm out somewhere and I can smell that and I see that's happening, I personally, from my experience, feel like I usually experience that in a more ghetto area.
Yeah, you think less of it, right? It doesn't
feel high class.
Luxury, right? Agree. So that could be a fair place for them to be coming from. And so I'm probably relatively neutral on this because on one, I'm for like less laws and less regulation.
Yep.
In general.
I agree.
Like the needle has to be somewhere. I recognize that, right? With no government, no rules, it's just chaos, right?
Of course.
And we're very fortunate to have a pretty good set of rules, right? It could always be better. Anyway, if the needle's going to move, I'd like for it to move a little bit less restrictive, right? Mm-hmm. So that's my natural answer. But before I go and say that, let me always try to look or consider both sides of the coin. So that's why I asked what's the devil's advocate of it. And if I'm a homeowner there, a business owner there, something like that, then that might be a fair thing if it is like running to whatever degree rampant, for lack of a better word, then that's a fair enough consideration. I wish I had a more exciting answer for you, but I'm just relatively neutral because for me, it's like, I'm good with less restriction and less regulation. And I'm good with like a nice clean presentation, especially if it's where I live, right? Like I want Patro to be as clean as possible, So anything that steps us in that direction without taking people's rights, so with taking the least amount of people's rights and freedom away, I'm open to.
Yeah. I mean, my thoughts just go to like, what's that luxury clientele going in and out maybe going to think? And in my head, I'm like, all right, well, you know what? The older demographic might be like, this is amazing. We hate that. But it's funny because my highest sale to date, it's really cool guy. He's younger. If you told me guess, late 30s, early 40s. And he made a joke to me about his balcony and his primary. He's like, yeah, this is my favorite place to go smoke a joint.
Yeah.
I thought he was joking,
Totally.
thinking that like, oh, I'm younger, or like I smoke. And then one day I go out there and he's there. So it's like, it really doesn't indicate anything about wealth, your class, status, anything like that.
Yes and no, right? Because there's outliers.
But there's a perception.
Yes. Well, there's outliers and then there's things on average, right? Like the way that we associate smoking weed in public with a less prestigious area, there's some level to truth of that because on average, there's probably there, but there's outliers, and that's why we don't want to speak in absolutes. Yeah. So you get unfortunately a neutral me because I can see both sides, right? One side I'm saying, dude, we don't need any more regulation and rules and less freedom, and on the other side it's like, well, we also want a organized and presentable place to live. And not that smoking weed necessarily takes away from that, but if the effort is to keep things clean and not be blowing smoke in the direction of me and my kids walking past in the middle of town or whatever, like whatever the other extreme example against it, I can understand both sides.
100%. I'm right there with you. All right, so now let me ask you. This is a very controversial question online.
Try me.
Is housing a right or a privilege?
I love this. Oh, this is my favorite question so far.
Let's go.
It's absolutely a privilege. And if anybody that would for a moment take the position of it being a right, if we are able-bodied and able-minded, right? If we are able-bodied and able-minded, the work instills the worth. It is harder than ever to buy a house on Long Island, no doubt. But that hard work that it takes to be able to buy a house on Long Island instills the worth, makes it worthwhile, makes it a worthy accomplishment to own the house in the end. So let that motivate or guide you that the work it takes, it is tough to buy. I've been doing this for 14 years now. And a relatively clear-cut example that I always like to mention on how I've seen the housing market change in my career is that when I was early into this, it was getting to the point in time where a single person with a normal job, for lack of a better word, somebody that is a teacher, a nurse, or just a normal salary job, traditional job, that a normal person alone couldn't really comfortably buy a house by themselves anymore, and you needed a husband and a wife, or a boyfriend and a girlfriend. Like, it was just getting to there.
Or a boyfriend and a boyfriend.
Boyfriend and a boyfriend, a girlfriend and a girlfriend. Two buddies. I don't care what you're into. Yes. I don't judge. I'm open-minded.
Literally.
And right? So it was just changing that. Now it's changing again, or it's recently changed to where your husband and wife, wife and wife, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend, that the two of them that both work traditional jobs can't comfortably afford a house. So that's what I've seen is the housing market and housing gets so unaffordable. That was for where one could kind of just barely do it by themselves to now a couple is having a hard time getting pre-approved to comfortably, and comfortable is subjective, but to comfortably afford a house on Long Island. So that's an interesting and identifiable measure of that. Okay, but no, it's a privilege, not a right. The work instills the worth. The reason it's so valuable, homeownership, is because it's an accomplishment that we work and strive and plan for. Maybe you went to college for, maybe you worked to get a promotion for. The work instills the worth. And if we tried to make it a right, then everybody, or not everybody, but many people would lay off the gas pedal and it would be worth less. It would be less of accomplishment and it would be more chaotic in the long run, one way or another.
So now, when you ask people in this country what the American dream is, the vast majority will bring up homeownership.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, do you feel like it's to some extent the responsibility of our government to make it possible to have this be a privilege that is realistically attainable, which, as you just said, we're straying from that.
Yep. You're great at asking questions, great questions, and I love this topic.
Appreciate it.
So the way I see it is that we as individuals should not be dependent on the government for it. But I do see it that the government should be in our corner, doing what they can to make it realistic. It's hard enough.
Yeah.
It's plenty hard. There's still work to do. So it's plenty hard enough. The government should be actively in our corner to help make it realistic for as many as people as to accomplish as possible. That's the best way I could put it, is that my stance is that the government should be in our corner, working very hard to make it realistic. I don't know if they necessarily are. I'm not a particularly political person, and that's by design. I would never bother getting emotionally wrapped up on who the president's going to be, because I can see my future and my vision so clearly. Whether it was Trump or Kamala Harris, it wasn't going to stop me from buying the car I wanted, from getting the next house that I want, from getting the building and building out the branch, from growing the team. Rates are high. Yeah, that's tough.
You adapt.
Does it help me to blame the administration, or does it help me to adapt for my team to the elevated interest rates, prove more value to more realtors, be the answer for their solutions that their clients need, and do that, right? I wouldn't waste a second blaming the government for my problems, and I would encourage anybody that's able-bodied and able-minded to try to take on the same philosophy. That said, if I did step into politics or wanted to be political for a second, the government should be in that corner, making it easier than it is. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. And and just to make a clear example, right? We're slapping these people with mansion taxes, buying modest houses.
It's crazy.
So the government's not in our corner,
Exactly.
especially here in New York State.
We did make one big move though. I don't know if you saw, but I think it's officially banned for like large institutions to be purchasing single family homes.
I did see.
Yeah, so I feel like that's a big move in the right direction by the government.
Yep. So I'm going to go surface level again. And I welcome anybody to challenge me because I'm not an expert in this subject. So by all means, tear me up if I'm off. But from a surface level view on that, that seems to me a good intention. That seems to me to have been done with good intention. And that seems like a step in the right direction. We do not want these huge corporations buying up every single home
with a regular person making $100,000 a year.
And basically forcing them into rental long term.
Yep.
Right? It turned them into lifelong
bought
tenants. Yes.
With that intention
Yes.
to increase rental prices.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think that was a huge move for us.
On surface level, I agree. I'm not deep enough in the weeds to know the counter argument to that.
Yeah.
And I would try to play devil's advocate before I decided for sure. But on the surface, that seemed like a good step. It seemed like a good step or done in good faith.
Yeah, definitely. You're very well PR trained.
Thanks.
I love it. Now let me ask you a question. So we can't leave this without getting a nice story out of Bill.
Okay.
Okay. We need to hear give us a story of you dealing with like a realtor. You don't have to name drop.
Sure.
Where you're just like, what is happening?
Yeah. Well, doing this for 14, I hate to not.
Don't bring me
on
up,
answer. Yeah, right. You'd be. I can tell by us talk, not even just while this is live. Our other conversations, I could tell the philosophies are similar. Those philosophies are the philosophies that I found reading books of those who have succeeded in the past. So if my philosophy is somewhat aligned with the philosophies of those that have succeeded in the past, and your philosophy is in line with mine, that probably predicts success for the both of us. And so you'll never be on the wrong side of that conversation, that's for sure. But, and I'm going to give you the not so exciting answer first, and then I'll find something fun. Because, if we just keep talking, something will come up. But to give you the not so fun answers, realtors I know, like we talked about, are such a mixed bag. I'm used to, it's the aunt or it's the whatever that this is her second transit. And everybody is entitled to be new. But the aunt that has a full-time job and doesn't answer the phone from 10 to 6, which are all of the hours that my employees work, right? I already know we're already built to deal with them being literally basically non-sentient. So it doesn't matter much to me because we have a process in place that isn't dependent on the agents being superstars. Believe me, we want to work with the superstars. Our life is easier. The client's life is easier. The real estate attorney's life is easier. We want to work with superstars, but we're built for whatever comes because we don't get to pick them always, So unfortunately, not the greatest answer. What's a story? What's a story of something outlandish? Let's keep talking and something
Let me
pops
inspire
into my head. Yeah.
Let me talk some shit here.
Go ahead. You
Okay.
take the mic.
Dan,
Please.
I wanted to name this episode after this fucking realtor.
Okay. Can we make up a funny, silly name, placeholder name for it if we don't want to call him out personally, which we shouldn't. I don't want to. Whoever it is, I don't want to know.
Jessica the Terrible.
Okay.
That's the name.
Okay.
We have an accepted offer on one of my listings.
Yeah.
The money is from out of the country. So buyer's agent sets the expectation. They give us everything we want.
Out of curiosity, Asian buyer?
No, inbound.
Okay. That would have been the next. Okay, continue.
They give us everything we want. So it's of course we're going to accept it. But they set the expectation properly that we need a really solid amount of time to get the money transferred into the country properly through all the partners, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Seller agrees. Cool. We take the house off the market. And as expected, we had to wait past the expiration date of my listing. So the listing shows up as being expired. But in reality, I still have the exclusive. It's re-signed, but it's now off-market exclusive.
Yep.
Of course, most realtors can't know that. So I don't blame anyone. We're all hustling. We're all trying to eat. So, of course, people cold call my seller. He said, hey. And he's like, hey, deal with Jacob. Jacob's still my realtor.
Yep.
This one realtor
Enter Jessica.
refuses to listen. So then he sends me her number and he's like, can you talk to her? She's saying she has a buyer. So we're like, cool. You have a buyer. These people are taking forever. We'll entertain it. So
Yep.
why not?
Yep.
Call her. Hey, heard you have a buyer. Nope, I don't have a buyer. I know an agent with a buyer. I'm like, who's the agent? Oh, it's someone we're already dealing with.
Yep.
You're a lot of help. You're a lot of help. Great job. Okay.
Do you know that buyer was already represented by anybody?
Yeah. So she didn't even have a buyer. Like, she just knew a realtor who had a buyer, and that buyer had already submitted an offer with us.
She's trying to insert herself as the listing agent?
And she was trying to say that she had the buyer to my seller.
Oh, yeah.
So then it's like, whatever. So I just say, hey.
Was she doing that in a way to try to insert herself as the position? Yes. Okay.
Correct. To put herself in a position to get it, start the conversations. Yes. And so I let her know, hey, we're still exclusive here. If there's any questions, please keep communication between you and I, not my seller.
Yeah.
My seller literally wanted that. He's like, I don't want this lady told
me.
Yeah. I swear on everything. She continues to reach out. I continue to reach out to her saying, we're exclusive here.
Yep.
Hello. Yep. We are exclusive here. Continues to reach out. Continues to ignore me. To the extent that then we get a whole new deal. These people never come up with their money. We get a whole new deal. And I'm talking, the terms were insane.
You're still representing the seller.
Yes.
New offer comes in. Would you call this a backup at this stage, or is it in motion now?
No, it's in motion. So we're literally at the appraisal.
Yep.
The realtor calls my seller.
Yeah.
Even though I've now at this point said multiple times, we're exclusive here. Yeah. It's an off-market exclusive. I'm like, please. I'm to my seller. I'm like, please let me answer.
Yeah.
Please let me answer the phone. Please.
Yeah.
Lets me answer. Hey, it's Jacob Simon with Sirhan. Hello? It's Jacob Simon with Sirhan. She's like, I ignored your email and your text because I know you don't have an exclusive and I know you're lying. I'm like, hey, seller, are we exclusive? He's like, we're exclusive. She's like, I don't know who that is. He takes the phone.
On his phone?
Yeah. We're exclusive. Oh, right. Do we have a brain? Apparently not. She goes on this whole rampage of how I'm a liar. I don't have it exclusive. I have nothing in writing. And he's like, we have it in writing. Then she's like, how was I supposed to know?
Take our word for it.
Duh! I told you so many times! So.
Mixed bag.
There was that.
Yeah.
Did I inspire you?
Mixed bag. No, you reinforced that agents are a mixed bag. And
it's
that
crazy.
There are
it's
many
crazy.
levels of crazy.
It's insanity. I mean,
because the bar to entry is low and the ceiling is high.
Yes.
So you get such a ridiculous variety. And I love that the bar is low because that affords opportunity for people that are deserving. And to some degree, right, people will weed themselves out or rotate out, right? It's a revolving door, right? And the cream will rise to the top, right? So this is all natural. But our systems, my system, your system has to be built around having no idea what's going to come from the agents because it's a mixed bag. And you made a great example of how professional common courtesy is not inherent. And so we just have to have systems and things in place to try to protect the best we can from it. All right. So I'm going to segue then.
Let's go.
I'm going to segue. So these are the types of things that we have to deal with all the time in our business. I know, frustrating, ironic, surprising. Again, like it's something new every day. There's always something to learn or experience. So how do you take that and keep your head straight? Do you run? Do you what do you do?
I attack.
Just business? Is it attack back business, or how do you keep your head straight? How do you de-stress? How do you manage your stress? What do you do?
I make sure motherfuckers know. You don't fuck with Jacob Simon.
Yeah, what?
This is my way of de-stressing, is making sure that I got to get my get back. Like, to put it into perspective, I could probably get their license suspended.
Yeah.
Well, you will see one day.
Yeah.
You will see a one-pager ChatGPT. Yeah, I promise you. Apology to Jacob Simon on that lady's story. I promise you.
Well, good for you. Now, good for you. I would devil's advocate, right? Is to just make sure that we are dedicating our time and energy into whatever.
That's right.
Right? Because there's another Jessica. There's another Jessica the Terrible
Jessicas.
waiting to materialize, waiting to appear, waiting to fall out of the sky.
So what do you?
Give us the next thing to be? I have to go hit a workout. I have to go get do boxing, go for a run. I have to do that. I have to meditate for at least 5 minutes a day. I have to, because I'll go down all of these. I'll be the devil. I'll go down these rabbit holes like you are, for sure, right? I'm not better than it. It's just like, I just try to bring it back. Like,
well, that's amazing.
What's the best use of my time?
Things.
I have to. So I just try to hark back on, is that the highest and best use of my time? Like, to end this person, like, are we capable? Absolutely, right? Is it the best and highest use of my time before I go down that rabbit hole? Like, no. Like,
I respect that. Yes, and I
go for a drive. I love my kids.
That.
Like, I'm just gonna like focus on something and just get back to gratitude, and then take over. Because to me, like, success is the ultimate revenge, right? Or, right, that's one way of saying it. And another, I love a quote that says that, okay, your doubters are right until they aren't. So
I love that.
Jessica the Terrible doubts you, or me, or anybody else. She's right until they aren't, until we're irrefutable, until we're indisputable, until we are at the top of the mountain and there's just nothing like, there's just nothing, you can't even critique them, right? So like, I try to focus on that, because believe me, I would naturally go the exact same, like, fully, feral. Like, I'd go, right?
Like me.
100%. So I have to consciously keep myself on
That's good.
What's productive, because I'm busy as fuck. So and you are too.
Well, that's my
so
problem. It's like, I go to sleep. I'm like, I want to get that revenge, but I don't. I'm working too much.
But like, kind of same. And I just channel that into like
winning.
Yes. Let me go get a workout
Yes.
in. Let me take care of that pipeline review that I need to do. Let me respond or get through my email, like whatever. Like,
Well, that's my thing.
Way, that's
like,
my
you want
way
to
of
talk
winning.
shit to my seller?
Yeah.
I want to prove it wrong.
Yes.
By selling it.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And
So
by getting
I agree.
another listing and one after that. So that's just, believe me, I naturally want to go down that road. I want to ask you, what's your fucking name? When we turn off the cameras and let's figure this out. Like, let's get back. But no, let's go get 3 more listings instead.
Yep.
And forget her actual name.
Yep. Let's go outsell them with one sale. That's my thought process. I think we went through all of it.
I think I feel elevated.
Yeah.
I think we had a nice conversation. We got to be real, and we got to also do a little bit of inspiration.
Now
You're great at asking these questions, man.
I appreciate it. It was a pleasure.
Could you come to my office sometime? We're gonna do on the whiteboard, for lack of, it's clearboard, but you know what I mean, and get some other thought-provoking things, because this is what I get energy from. Is, let's take something over, let's build something, let's grow something, and like, even if it has nothing to do with me, like, tell me what your goals are for this year, whether it's do a triathlon, like, literally throw anything at me, and I'm like, all right, how are we gonna do it? So that's what I'm here for, that, man. So just let me know and we'll get after it.
Our next goal, we've been waiting for the weather to get better. Our next goal is to make the Owning Long Island trailer to pitch to Netflix.
Oh, okay. Right. So Owning Manhattan is obviously doing great, right?
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as a natural question, and yeah, we got some characters out here. We could rope Jessica the Terrible in for like some drama. Just,
No, it's going to scare people.
It would be exciting. Might get clicks. No, I love that idea. How do we make that realistic? What's step 1?
Well, against most people's advice, I have been waiting for better weather, because I feel like Long Island is not Long Island until you're in the spring.
Totally.
So
We all come alive.
Yeah, it's the vibes,
Yep.
the people, the sceneries, being at the beach, the water, the drives. Like, you don't have
So true.
the scenery
No, there's
of what
terrible.
Long Island is.
Agreed.
So we are waiting.
I'm going to back you up on that 100%. I'm not playing devil's advocate at all, because I think you're dead right. People come to life on Long Island when we've seen glimpses of it this week. Like, people like come alive. There's something so true of that. So yeah, let people get back into character. Let people wake up from a winter slumber, and then get some action and some excitement.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I love it. So how do you? Sorry, but continue. Right. So let's say we wait for the warm weather. Do you try to provide them content that can motivate them to go further down that rabbit hole? What is it actually? I have no idea.
So I don't know if most people don't know this. I actually got really far into the interim process with Netflix to go on Onium and Hackman season 2.
I believe it. You have the personality and character for
I appreciate
100%.
So at one point, I have all these people's emails.
Yeah.
And, kind of where I left off with was, we don't feel like we have the content to film out here.
Okay.
But now it's like, hey, we're putting up a 10.7.
Yeah.
We had a $12.5 million listing. We're putting up a $25 million listing. We got all these crazy listings where it's like, all right, the content's here now. So it's a little combination of showing our characters and all that, showing our scenery, and now showing the crazy listings that we have that can be part of it to put it all together.
You have it. The content's here. The model, they've already done it with Manhattan, right? So it's not like you're reinventing the wheel.
No,
you're bringing it out here and injecting your sauce, your personality into it. And you've got the character for you, the look for it. You could totally do it.
Appreciate that.
So then let me throw something at you, maybe. If you invest in somebody, or whatever, maybe if you want me to be involved in any degree, then we do it together. But like, what if we had somebody that was following you or generally with you as you go through your day-to-day and the drama and excitement and the action just unfolds and they capture that? Because the way I see it is you could have you would be a win-win, because you either build the content that you could give as samples to generate interest in them bringing the show out here, and or you're coming up with content for your own personal that you just put on your Instagram or your own YouTube or whatever, but you'll have something to show for it either way. And again, we're in an attention economy, right? The girl that you showed me has a huge, massive following because she puts herself in the highest, most respectful way. Like, she puts herself out there as far as like, she makes content, makes videos, posts them, is consistent, I'm sure. And if you do that as well, you have the personality and the character for it. You're going to accumulate, if you don't already, a huge following.
Yeah, we got to get some collabs done.
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
This has been awesome, Bob.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. You're the man. And
having me.
I'll be working on stopping my patchwork.
Let's do it, bro. Let's do big things this year. We've got
awesome.
all the year ahead of us and not even spring yet. Let's do it.
Oh yeah. All right, you're the man.
You are. Hey, appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff.